So it's hosted by, it's the NASA Johnson Space Center in Houston. And the premise of the school, and it's still the same today, there's been a few changes, but the idea is that you come together with high school students from all around the world and you plan a crewed mission to Mars. So you have to think of all the different aspects like engineering, rockets, training the astronauts, how do you protect the astronauts, but also things like the laws involved in going to space, like international treaties, policy, the business of space. So it covers a very wide range. So so 2 weeks to plan a mission to Mars.
How on earth does education on the Isle of Man prepare you for something like that?
That's a good question. I was very lucky. I went to St Ninians on the Isle of Man and had a great education. I think the education standard here is very high. But at this space school, as you said, it covers all subjects. So really for anyone thinking of entering the competition, any subject applies because, the space industry needs talents from all different areas.
And so how did it actually change you then? Because these would have been things you would never have done in your life before. You probably met some very interesting people. What were you like when you came back from it?
Right. So, meeting people is a huge thing. And you're meeting like real like NASA scientists and astronauts. So it's a great chance for networking. You can ask them about their careers, how they got to where they are now. So I guess before I went, I was maybe a little shy. And so this was my first time sort of travelling by myself. So definitely I became a lot more confident and sort of had more of a sense of adventure, I would say.
And of course, as we said at the start, this has led you on a very interesting journey, which has brought you back to Mansat now. So just tell us about what your role is in Mansat.
Right. So I'm the Senior Manager of Regulatory Affairs. So what Mansat does is we assist satellite operators to get access to the frequencies they need to carry out their missions. And so that could be providing satellite internet, broadcasting, emergency services, a whole range of things. And this also covers maybe very small startups all the way up to global satellite operators. And the process for getting access to frequencies or spectrum is regulated by the International Telecommunications Union, which is a specialist agency of the UN. And so in my role, I have to assist our customers in navigating those regulations so that they can get access to the frequencies they need and provide a service and carry out their mission.
Gosh, it sounds fascinating. And I know that you're on the island, back on the island again at the moment, to go and speak to schools about what you do and also about the scholarship itself. How have the students received it?
I've been visiting all the schools during this month. I've actually made 2 trips to get around them all. But everyone seems very excited about it. It is really a sort of out of this world opportunity, I like to think. So it's been really nice to meet the students, and I think it's good to be able to say that I myself did it, so I know what I'm talking about.
And something we talk about on the programme quite a lot is trying to encourage more young girls and women into STEM careers. Mm-hmm. How many women do you work with or alongside or in sort of a similar area to where you are?
Mm-hmm. So I would say in engineering, the number of women can be quite low. However, in the high school stage, for our competition, we really get kind of half and half in terms of successful applicants. So I think it's good for young students to maybe see, hopefully, role models. So people like them that have gone on to do these things so that they know that people like them can succeed.
And I know you were saying when you were working on your scholarship, it was all about, and I think it still is about sort of a mission to Mars. Mm-hmm. Will that ever happen?
Yeah, I'm sure. Whether it's commercial or government, we will see, but it is certainly being planned. There are also questions of, some people argue maybe we should go back to the moon first and do some more work there before we go to Mars. That is one of the essay questions for the Space School competition this year. I'm sure it will happen, hopefully soon. Someday.
How exciting. Now, coming back to the Space School competition itself then, so how does it all work then? And if students are interested, how do they actually get involved?
Yep, so the competition is open to all Year 12 Lower 6th students that are attending school on the Isle of Man for this academic year. It's an essay competition, so we have 3 essays. Question 1 is why I'm interested in space. Question 2 is what do you think the future of space exploration should be for the next 30 years? And question 3, as I alluded to, is should humans return to the moon before going on to Mars? So I've given all the instructions to the head of sixth forms at each of the schools. So the deadline is going to be the 9th of January 2019. So we asked the students to submit their answers to all 3 of those questions. And then there will be a Mansat judging panel. We will anonymise all the essays we get, and then we'll have 3 people judging, and then we'll announce the results sort of mid-January sort of time. So we'll do it pretty quickly.
Do you have to have sort of a real interest in the sciences and physics in particular?
Right, so we ask that you're interested in space. That's one of the essay questions, why I'm interested in space. So I would imagine you probably like physics or that kind of thing, but the competition really is open to any subject, because, I mean, the space sector needs people from all areas of life, all subjects. And at the school, this crewed mission to Mars, you will cover aspects like space law, finance, marketing, business. So maybe some of the less traditional sort of space subjects, those are definitely covered. So the competition is absolutely open to everybody in year 12, lower 6th. So whatever subject you're doing, it is relevant, and you should definitely think of applying.
For the person that's successful, when do they go out and how long do they go out for?
Yep. So we can definitely sponsor 2 scholarships. It will hopefully be 3. We've been able to send 3 students for the last 4 or 5 years. So the school is sort of the last week of July and the first week of August. So it's a 2-week trip. And the students will stay with a host family. So it's quite often a family that maybe works for NASA or in engineering. So that's another chance for people to get some good career advice. So a 2-week trip to Houston, last week of July, first week of August.
So exciting. And I know that obviously this is a private sector sort of supporting education in a way. Why is that important?
I think it's really important to give back to the community, because it's all very well to say I love man in space, but if people don't understand what the connection is, then it can be difficult to relate to. And a career in the space industry can seem maybe kind of a distant concept for people. Like if I'm at school on the Isle of Man, how can I be involved in space? So I think it's good to connect with the local students and explain that it definitely is possible. It was possible for me, so for sure they can do it too.
And what would you say to students who sort of might be thinking about it, but what do you think is the most important thing that you've gained from your experience?
It for sure it opened a lot of opportunities for me. So a program like that can show that you can really thrive in an international setting and with people from different countries. And so having something like that on like your UCAS application for university, or even when you get to university, like a lot of my professors were really surprised that I'd done something like that, and then I was able to then get on to other sort of international programs, and then that looks good if you're applying for jobs or for PhD or whatever it is. So it just is a really great starting point and opens up a lot of opportunities.
So just remind everyone again then, if they do want to apply, how do they do that?
Yep, so you can get in touch with your head of sixth form for all the instructions. I've given them all the questions, the instructions. So you're answering these 3 questions. Deadline is the 9th of January 2019, and best of luck to everybody.
Good luck, everyone.